Hello, my name is John. I'll be doing my presentation on Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was one of the most successful businessmen in the 19th century. He was born in Scotland and later moved to the United States with his family to get a better life and a better opportunity. He later creates a steel company that became one of the most successful steel company, and that made him one of the most wealthiest people in the 19th century. Later in his life, he became a philanthropist and gave away almost the entirety of his wealth to fund educations, technology libraries, and help others. He was born on November 25th, 1835, in Dunfermline, Fife, Scotland. Although he had little formal education, he grew up in a family that believes in books and learning. In the year 1848, his family moved to America. He was 13 at the time. The family settled in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. He started a job as a messenger boy at Western Union. Carnegie went on to work at a factory, which earned him $1.20 a week. He was a hard worker and often recognized by his employers. In the next year, he found a job as telegraph operator, which he taught himself. He then found a job at Pennsylvania Railroads in 1853. He worked under Thomas Scott, one of the top officials at that railroad, and he was a telegrapher and an assistant to Thomas Scott. Through this experience, he learned about railroads and business in general. While working at railroads, Carnegie made wise decisions to invest his money instead of spending them carelessly. In 1865, Carnegie finally left the railroad and focused on his other business interests, including Keystone Bridge Company. Through investment, Carnegie built a giant steel company. By the next decades, most of Carnegie's time was dedicated to the steel company. Eventually, he founded the Carnegie Steel Company in 1982, which revolutionized the steel industry in the United States, using technology methods that made manufacturing steel easier, faster, and more productive. His philosophy was to introduce innovation for steel manufacturing as a key foundation to build America. This made Carnegie a dominant figure in the steel industry and also made him a very wealthy person. In 1889, Carnegie Steel Corporation was the largest steel company of its own. In 1901, Carnegie made a very dramatic change in his life. He sold the company to J.P. Morgan, a giant financier, the owner of the United States Steel Corporation. He sold the company for $480 million, about $13.5 billion in current currency, and the sales earned him $200 million. At the age of 65, Carnegie decided to spend the rest of his life helping others. He wrote a book called The Gospel of Wealth. In this book includes one of his famous quotes: "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." Basically, he called his other rich friends the importance of a rich man helping others, and that should be aspired by every rich person. Carnegie donated approximately $5 million to the New York Public Library in 1901. He established the Carnegie Institute of Technology in Pittsburgh, which is now known as Carnegie Mellon University, in 1904. In the next year, he developed the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching in 1905. With his strong interest for peace, he formed the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in 1910. He had numerous other donations, and it is said that with his support, 2,800 libraries were opened. And finally, he died at the age of 83 in Massachusetts in August 1919.